Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric, and while many people have ranked their favorite roller coasters at Cedar Point, I've never seen anyone rank their favorite overall rides. And now that Snake River Expedition's open, I thought this would be the perfect time for me to do it. This is the top 20 rides at Cedar Point. Before we get to the list, I'm going to set a few rules. First of all, it's only rides I've been on, and it's not going to be any defunct or closed rides. And one thing I'm going to point out is that this is solely based on how much I enjoy the ride. It's not necessarily the best. There will be quite a few upsets here, but remember, it's just my opinion based on how much I like the rides. I hope no one gets too upset if their favorite ride is low, or a ride they don't like is a lot higher. Just keep in mind, it's my opinion. We all have different preferences on roller coasters and rides. Now, let's rank the top 20 rides at Cedar Point. Number 20 is Cedar Downs. Yes, that's right. A carousel is the first one on this list, above more than 50 rides at Cedar Point. Above some roller coasters, thrill rides. Why? It's just fun, honestly. I have a fun time on this. It's one of the more thrilling carousels because you go forward and backward rather than just up and down. It really does feel like a horse race, and that's what it's themed to. You have some good audio, it goes pretty fast, really fun. It's kind of fun to pretend you're racing with friends. I named my horse Millennium Horse because I'm that kind of person who does puns. And I just have a lot of fun on this ride. Number 19 is Snake River Falls. This one is kind of a log flume, but it's like a full-on shoot-the-chute large ride. You're in a large car, as a big drop, but that's really about it. There's a bit of cool theming on the exterior of the big tunnel that you go through the top. Unfortunately, that's really about it. The drop is really great. It's a good ride, but not quite as good as the others above it. Number 18 is Troika. I was originally going to give this spot to Witch's Wheel, but it's closed, so I cannot do that. Troika is a really good flat ride, though. Just really fun. There's not a whole lot else to say about it. I just really enjoyed this one. Number 17 is Blue Streak. Blue Streak is a solid wooden coaster. The airtime is pretty good. I like the color scheme. It's a decently long ride. It's pretty good. The big issue for me is that as it's more than 50 years old, it's a bit bumpy. Not terribly so, but a little bit. It did bother me a little, so it's not going to be any higher. Number 16 is Power Tower. This is not my favorite drop tower. I like that there's two different types of drop tower on it. I'm going to count them as one ride. And it's a decently fun ride. I like drop towers, but this one's not one of the best. Still undoubtedly a great ride, though. Number 15 is Max Air. Max Air is a pretty fun frisbee ride. I really like these. This one's really thrilling, tall. It's a good ride. Definitely one of the best flat rides at Cedar Point. Number 14 is the Cedar Point and Lake Erie Railroad. One half of this ride is just okay. You go around some roller coasters like Maverick, that's cool. I like that you go past the roller coasters. However, the Frontier Town side is really cool as you go past Boneville. Boneville is a setup area that has a bunch of skeletons, some animatronics and effects even, and it's very, very fun. It's not my favorite train ride. That goes to the Serengeti Express, that is at Busch Gardens, Tampa, but this one is fun. I like going past the large roller coasters and also the theming, and now you can go right along the Snake River Expedition ride. Number 13 is Wicked Twister. One of the most underrated roller coasters in the park. This one gets a lot of hate, though I really, really like it. Some say it's jerky. I have smooth rides every time, and I just love being in the back row and going all the way up that spike backwards. It's really, really cool. Powerful launch, I really like this ride. A really strong launch coaster, though certainly the weakest of the launch coasters in the park. Number 12 is Rougarou. This is a tough one to rank. A few years ago, this would probably be not in the top 20. However, on my last trip, the first half was perfectly smooth for me. The drop, loop, and dive loop were really, really great. After that, it got really painful and frustrating, and I didn't like it, but the first half was really good, so I had to put it on here, and I think it's better than Wicked Twister for sure now. Number 11 is Thunder Canyon, a river rapids ride. This one's length does leave you wanting a little bit. However, it does get you wet. That's already a good start, and it's just really fun. There's some good theming, like there's some water blasters and some canyons, and it goes really well in the Frontier area. It's really good. It's not the best rapids ride per se, but absolutely worth a ride at Cedar Point and the best water ride in the park. Number 10 is Magnum XL 200. This might be my most controversial coaster ranking. A lot of people think it's one of the absolute best in the park. And I'm sorry, but since my first ride in 2014, I've always experienced pain that really affects the airtime and just really ruins the ride as a whole. There's some good stuff for sure. I like the ride overall, quite a bit. It's still a very good coaster, but the restraints might be the issue, but it's just kind of jerky to me, and I still don't get great rides on it. 2014, this would have been probably number 5 or 6. Unfortunately, right now, it has to rank a bit lower. Number 9, Skyhawk. Without a doubt, the best flat ride in the park. Above Magnum might seem crazy to some, but I love this barn swing. The sound it makes as you swing is actually quite terrifying, and it's a really thrilling one. I like this one a lot. It's really, really fun. The wind blows at you. I just have an absolute blast every time. A bit thrilling, you get thrown out of your seat sometimes. It's really, really good, and definitely one of my favorites in the park. Number 8, Snake River Expedition. My favorite non-coaster in the park. This is the new for 2021 ride, and it's really great. I have a separate review on it. I suggest you check that out, but I'll give a few thoughts. So the queue is really great. The pre-show is really well done. The story is really fun, and I like our skipper. The skipper we had was really good. He got all of his lines correct. The script is quite good. I like that it's kind of sucking you into the story as you play a role in it. That's really good. Some of the effects are pretty strong. A few are not great, but it didn't bother me too much. The only other thing I could see bothering someone besides some of the effects being a bit cheap is that you can see the large roller coasters for a lot of the ride. Cedar Creek Mine Ride, I like that you can see that, but some of the other larger ones, it's a bit weird. That said, it's a good long ride, fun, really enjoyable. Not many things they need to do to improve it. It's really, really good. Number 7 is Valraven. This is a dive coaster that I like. The thing that bothers me is that mid-course brake run is really, really bad. I love the elements, and it's not as forceless as people say in my eyes, as I think the elements work really, really well. That said, the brake run does take it back a little bit. Number 6 is Raptor. This B&M invert on my last ride was almost perfectly smooth, and the final helix was shockingly intense. I did not remember Raptor being that good. It's honestly right up there with Montu at this point now. It was really, really good. Definitely one of my favorite B&M inverts now. Number 5 is Gatekeeper, one of the most underrated coasters in the world in my opinion. I really like this one. My only wing coaster, it's perfectly smooth, the drop is great, most of the inversions are strong, I got some good forces, the airtime was really strong for me in the one hill. The finale's a bit weak, but other than that, it's nearly a perfect wing coaster and I really, really like it. It also happens to be the most beautiful coaster in the park, hands down. Number 4 is Top Thrill Dragster. This used to be my number 3. However, I did decide to move it down. I'll explain soon. But let's just say, Top Thrill Dragster, the launch is the single greatest moment on any roller coaster. It's fantastic. Being that high up is really cool too. I like the theme going with the ride. Really smooth. Front row launch is the best. The only thing holding it back is that there aren't any elements besides the one large hill. If there were, this would definitely be number 3. The number 3, the bronze, goes to Maverick. Maverick is the best launch coaster I've ever been on. It is incredibly well paced. The first drop is great. The inversions are fantastic. The turns are intense. The airtime is really strong. And to add to this really great thrilling roller coaster, you have the best theming in the park, as far as roller coasters go, because the dark ride tunnel portion is just so cool. It really adds to the intensity of the second launch, which is the highlight of the ride. It's pretty scary, and the fact that you're underneath the first hill is really, really cool. I love going over the lake through the canyons. Despite going fast, the theming can easily be seen. They had to build some pretty large structures for that. Great setting for the ride. It has great dark ride element to it that is pretty overlooked, honestly. And then you have the fantastic roller coaster that everyone loves and everyone knows how amazing that is. Number 2 is Millennium Force. I know, it's a crazy move to put that this high. However, I have never gotten a forceless ride on this. I stand by the statement that this is the best first drop of any roller coaster I've ever been on. I think the lift hill going up really adds to the ride. The airtime really worked for me, and I still feel intensity on those turns. I'm not sure why others do not. Maybe it's because I normally do back row, but I even did a front row ride and still had the same experience. A night ride on Millennium Force is unforgettable. This is still one of my favorite roller coasters. Third, actually, in the world. But that is not quite as good as number 1, Steel Vengeance. My favorite ride ever. It's nearly perfect. There's nothing I would change about it besides the restraints slightly taking away from the airtime for me. Not by much, just a little. The first drop is great. The outer bank turn gives probably a good 4 seconds of airtime. The airtime on this is just amazing. Perfectly smooth, weaves through the track really well. It's fast, it's long, there's nothing wrong with this ride. It's just absolutely amazing. And that's my list. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment your favorite rides at Cedar Point down below. And please subscribe to the channel so we can get to 900 subscribers soon. We are almost there and I'll be making the special. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.